As you journey through the world of the occult, you will find hidden treasures that have been in front of you your entire life but never realized the significance of their existence. In my videos, you have discovered that food, shapes, and colors are part of the hidden knowledge that go unrecognized as having any power. Wildlife is also one of the many blessings given to us by the Creator. Creatures of land, air, sea, and even those that are considered mythical possess symbolic characteristics that can illuminate your path to guide you to a life that resonates with your true self. A spirit animal is a creature that you feel a deep spiritual connection with. For centuries, cultures all over the world have believed that certain animals provide protection, knowledge, and guidance to humans. Spirit animals continue to hold deep significance in modern culture due to the resurgence of interest in Native American spirituality. This video is titled Spirit Creatures, since the idea of spirit animals include birds, fish, and insects. When you look at the items you collect, do you have a specific animal, insect, sea, or mythical creature that you have an abundance of? If so, that might be your spirit animal. I know I've been a collector of frog items since I was about 30 or so. I had frog sponge holders, bathroom items, and I even have a stuffed frog companion. I'm being silly with the froggy, but no, seriously, he's my frog. Anyway, I like the appearance of frogs, especially when they're characterized. But when you look at the meaning of frogs, frogs represent quite a few things. They represent transformation, cycle of life, rain and thunder magic, and good luck. I especially like the good luck. Spirit animals can change throughout our life, or they can stay with us forever. When I was a young girl, my collection of dog items were an expression of me wanting to own an actual dog. During that time of my life, I was developing psychically and I needed a friend. The traditional dog name Fido is derived from the Latin word which means fidelity. Dogs are indeed that. That is why so many people have them as pets. Dogs are loyal, protective, and known to detect unseen things in the spirit world. Many dog owners say they will not trust anyone that their dog doesn't like. Dogs are indeed psychic. Now, as we go along with this video, in the next few slides, I'm going to be showing you certain animals, whether they be regular animals that you see that are domesticated, or you might see them in the wild. Yeah, I'm also going to be talking about some fish and a few insects, okay? And some mythical creatures as well, okay? Now, I want you to understand that working with spirit creatures is just simply another form of utilizing occult knowledge, okay? Some people like working with magical art, like drawing pictures and stuff like that. Not everybody even likes animals, okay? Now, as an adult, as I was talking about when I was a child, I wanted a dog, right? Now, I found as I got older, I didn't really like dogs touching me, okay? I don't mind patting dogs on the head, but I don't like them licking me. I do not like having any close connection with dogs. Do I think they're cute? Absolutely, okay? But as a child, I understood that as a friend, I wanted a friend. These are the qualities I knew I can give a friend. And I knew that somehow, whether it was some sort of unspoken truth or whatever, I gravitated to being interested in little dogs, okay? Wanting a dog for myself. Every time I would, meet one of the neighbors when I was younger, if they had a dog, I wanted to see their dog and pet their dog and be around their dog, okay? I also understood that dogs were very telepathic. I do remember having telepathic communication with a dog one time that was chasing me. And it stopped chasing me only so it could kind of stop and kind of corner me and get close to me. And we made eye contact. And that dog let me know that he knew how I was afraid. And he also let me know that he enjoyed terrorizing me. Okay, all of this was going on telepathically. I understand what animals are, okay? And so do little children a lot of times. Little children are still kind of at their state where they still have a lot of their psychic abilities, so they tend to connect with animals very well, okay? Now, as an adult, like I said, there's times where we kind of evolve from our spirit animal. Like, I no longer like animals touching me, but I still think they're cute. So if I go to a store and I see like a little dog item, I'm still going to buy the dog item, especially if it's got like a really cute face or whatever, But as far as me feeling like like wanting that dog and feeling like everything, like every time I would buy, have the choice to maybe buy a decoration or get a gift from my mom, I might have said, if we went to the store and she said, well, you want to pick out something, I probably would have picked out, the dog item, right? Because I really want a dog. Okay, now I'm older, my tastes have changed. Okay, so sometimes spirit creatures can be with us, our entire lives, or they can be transitional. It doesn't mean that you don't care about them anymore after you outgrow them. It's just that you may have moved on to different things. Okay, so everything that the dog was, everything the dog represented, was something that came into my life, and I was able to perfect it, meaning like not only apply those attributes to myself, but do it well. And so this is one of the reasons why now my thing is like, okay, I like frogs. But to be truthful with you, when it comes to spirit creatures, you may find that you don't have just one specific animal that you like. Okay, a lot of people who get into the whole spirit animal thing, some people, like for example, wolves are huge. People love wolves. A lot of European people of European descent like Native American spirituality. This is one of the reasons why there's such a revival of it. Okay, and it seems like wolves are like one of the hottest items to be. Okay, so you'll see a lot of people wearing wolf t-shirts, they have wolf statues, and they're just like obsessed with wolves. Okay, you don't have to go that far if you don't want to. Okay, you can take it as far as you want to, but you understand that they do have, symbolism. Animals, you may have them as a pet, and sometimes you can't have them. It's impossible. Like if you wanted an elephant, I'm sure you're probably going to get in trouble with your city and some of the, what do you call it, animal rights or whatever, because you're not going to be able to accommodate that animal in your house. So obviously you can use the symbolism in other forms. Maybe that might be an elephant t-shirt, could be an elephant coffee mug, it might be an elephant statue that you place on your altar. Okay, because whatever the animal, represents, you want to bring that into your life. Now, I do know that elephants have like long memory, okay, and they're considered stable or whatever. So those are the things that you would concentrate on. Okay, so that, just to let you understand that working with a spirit creature is it's just another form of the occult that you can utilize. Okay, like I said, everybody's got their special preferences on how they utilize the occult. Some people, I like using it all. Okay, and so this is one of the reasons why I'm sharing and talking about animals as an option. Also, what creature, when it comes to like finding, if you want to work with a spirit animal, ask yourself, what do you feel drawn to? Okay, you might like the cute little chubby stature of certain dogs, right? And there's, and I'm going to tell you, when it comes to dogs, now on my list that I created, I'm basically listing dogs, right? But do understand that dogs are all bred differently. There's different kinds of creations of dogs, and each dog, they have what do you call it, a universal symbolism, all right? But I will tell you that each breed has its own symbolism within itself. Okay, so when it comes to my list, they're going to constantly be updated. Okay, and they're always going to be like with fresh updated content based on my understanding. Okay, now I obviously am not somebody who's researched thousands of dogs, okay, but I have talked to and spoken to people who know dogs, okay, and from what I can tell, and just by looking, okay, because I knew I grew up with a Brittany Spaniel, my ex-husband, he had pit bulls and stuff like that. There's a lot of similarities within the dogs, but then there's also those unique differences based on the breed, okay. Also, I also want to say, if somebody wants to, after their prayer, you can incorporate signs and signals into your prayer now, or your spell work. Okay, so once you're done with your prayer, or while you're almost wrapping it up, I should say, you can say, hey, show me a sign. I want to be able, once you give me a sign to let me know that I'm on the right track. It can be anything, okay, but you can also use an animal. Okay, and sometimes animals come up to you in the form of an omen, okay, or a sign. You know what I mean? Some animals are in your life because you choose for them to, and then sometimes you might go outside, and for no apparent reason, there might be a bird that's sitting next to you, and birds are usually like quick to just fly off, but for whatever reason, and this bird is completely able to fly, but it seems to just want to hang around you a little bit. Okay, and like I said, when it comes to dogs, and they're completely they have this huge different breakdown in breed, right? I would say birds have a similar thing to where, you know, most birds are pretty much the same, but they are very unique. Okay, hummingbirds have a completely different significance than like a raven. Okay, so so it's these little things that are interesting to know. And by the way, hummingbirds are wonderful. They're actually a sign of a blessing. Okay, like if you ask for something and you see a hummingbird, you can pretty much start feeling optimistic about what's going on in your life. Okay. Also, number 4, you actually want the animal, or do you want to use symbolism? Like I kind of mentioned before about the elephant. Obviously, not every place can use or support an elephant living with you, and like I don't think it's even legal. Okay, but you can, like I said, buy statues. Candle holders, you know, like I had mentioned, like, you know, I do think I'm going to be talking about dragons in my slides as we go along. But like, you know, for example, I never really considered a dragon like any spirit animal in my past or in my present or even in my future. But sometimes I just want the animal for representation only, and that's fine too. So this list that I created can serve you that way as well. Okay, because you know dragons do represent the south element. They represent fire, and there's sometimes maybe when you I wanted to talk about, you know, people who different ways of utilizing animal energy. Okay, and I do want to do a video in the future about magical mask. Okay, a lot of indigenous cultures wear mask, ritual mask. Okay, and sometimes, you know, it's about working yourself into a trance. And if you want to work with animal magic, you can get, like, for example, you're not bold enough to confront somebody about something. Okay, so you need to take on some form of courage. You need to be able to transfer, like being brave, being able to be outspoken and literally lose yourself so that you can actually confront people, which is something that's usually out of your character. Using a mask, now obviously you can't wear a mask in front of the person, but you can actually create rituals as using a ritual mask with an animal on it so that you can take in those energies. Okay, but I will be doing more on ritual mask in the future. But I'm giving you ideas on how you can use different things: animal statues, animal items on your clothing, animal earrings, animal jewelry, talismans, amulets, whatever. Open your mind, okay, to the possibility of working with animals. Like I said, you don't have to call them your spirit animal, okay, but do understand, just like everything else in this world, everything has an energy. Okay, and you know, when it comes to understanding my form of spirituality, I do have a certain form of animism. Okay, animism is when you believe that everything has a spirit in it. Okay, like to me, wood objects, plants, and I will say, you know, obviously animals do because they have brains. They're able to think. They have a circulatory system, which puts them in the category of being a full-on spiritual animal. I mean, a spiritual being. Okay, because if you have blood flow, you're going to be in that category because blood is where it's at, right? Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start showing different animals, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Make sure that you get the list that's in the description box at the bottom. When it comes to spirit animals, I think when people think of the word the occult, they immediately think of witches. And when they think of witches and they think about animals, they immediately connect cats with witches. I will say this about cats, is that they are definitely linked and associated with supernatural powers. I know in the past I have had cats every once in a while. Like back in the 90s, I had a few cats, okay? Not for very long, but I did own some cats. And they do have a psychic power. They definitely do. They're very intelligent. They are one of the kind of animals that I feel like I can deal with, mainly because they tend to be self-sufficient. Give them a cat box, give them some food, give them enough of the things that they need. They pretty much stay out of the way, okay? What I want to say else about cats, they do have a difference. Like, for example, they also have a difference in breed, like the dogs, okay? But generally, cats are associated with supernatural powers, and they also have the association of immortality. In the West, the traditional belief is that cats have 9 lives. 9 is a very powerful number because it represents immortality, which is another thing that cats are associated with. When you think of the number 9, you can multiply 9 by any number and it always comes back to itself. For example, 9 times 5 equal 45. Break down 45, 4 plus 5 equal 9. If you take 9 and multiply it by any number, you're going to get back to 9. Cats are mystical, cats are magical. They have 9 lives, which kind of seems like 9 lives with a question mark, because when you think about math and numerology, how far is immortality? Altogether, and overall, I would say cats are associated with supernatural powers, immortality, and of course, magical secrets. Now, it is an old lore that witches used to communicate with their cats, which they used to call familiars, okay? They would whisper their little intentions to the cat because that was basically their only friend that they could trust. And the cat, of course, would understand what the human was telling it, okay? And of course, the human who was telling the cat the secret could feel good about it because that cat was never going to tell anybody. Cats are mystical creatures, and they are something that I definitely appreciate. Sly and crafty is the universal description of the fox. Although the fox is known for being a trickster, he is considered to be a very wise animal. The fairy tale Reynard the fox demonstrates how clever foxes are. Reynard uses his communication skills to deceive or mislead the other animals to his own advantage. Foxes also represent lust and fertility. The fox is a symbol of a seductress. Calling someone a fox or a foxy lady is a good example of this. Foxes symbolize trickery, intelligence, fertility, and seduction. The pig has been a subject of debate for centuries, viewed as good luck by some and despised by others. To call someone a pig is to imply that they are greedy, selfish, ignorant, and a glutton, clearly not positive. I like to focus on the positive things about the pig. The pig is one of the animal signs of the Chinese zodiac and is cast in a positive light, representing family unity and care. Pigs symbolize good luck, greed, family connections, hard work, and caring. If you have a fear of spiders, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't consider one your spirit animal. However, there are some folks who do. In many of the world's creation myths, spiders wove the fabric of the universe. A disembodied spirit is any supernatural being that can become visible or audible to human beings. Spiders are believed to be just that. Therefore, many people believe it is bad luck to kill them. Spiders can travel in any direction by crawling or by flying through the air using their web strings. Spiders are used in divination because they are viewed as being able to move in different dimensions. Okay, I can totally understand if spiders are not your thing and you choose not to have one as a spirit animal. But I will say, if you ever decide to tap into the energy of what a spider represents, a good time to get certain things that represent spiders is Halloween. You can get Halloween candle holders with spiders on them, all kinds of decor, okay? Spiders represent creativity, universal creation, divination, and of course the disembodied soul. Flies are also believed to be disembodied souls. It should come as no surprise that flies are associated with death and decay. Flies do symbolize rebirth, but in a negative way, since they lay their eggs in feces and corpses. Who the hell would want to fly as a spirit creature? Flies do have symbolism, but it's typically associated with malevolent supernatural powers. The purpose of me mentioning flies is to let you know that some spirit creatures are meant to be embraced and others can be regarded as omens. To encounter a fly could mean a few of the following things. Number one, you have an enemy. Number two, negative forces are working against you. Number three, to see large amounts of flies in your home is a sign that you need to do a spiritual cleaning, either by smudging or sprinkling of holy water. Also, make sure that you pray a lot. Your physical surroundings are a representation of your spiritual energy and vibe. This principle is highly emphasized in magic. For example, if you have a dog outside and let the droppings of the animal accumulate, of course you're going to attract a large amount of flies, and they're going to eventually make their way into the home. One must ask themselves, am I attracting bad luck? Flies symbolize death and decay, malevolent supernatural powers. Okay. Did you just recently wish for something? When you encounter a hummingbird, it's a very good sign that your prayer is in action or confirmation of it. Attracting them is a good way to bring positive energy to your home. Hummingbird feeders are a good way to draw these little creatures. Just use water and sugar to attract them. In Central America, some believe that hummingbirds are the spirits of deceased ancestors or loved ones. Seeing them is a blessing and brings reassurance to those who love them. Hummingbirds can also be viewed as disembodied spirits. Hummingbirds symbolize prayer in action or confirmation of prayer, death and rebirth, messengers of prosperity and happiness, disembodied spirits, and blessings. Okay. Encountering a cricket in your home is considered good luck in the Mediterranean countries and in China. In Greece, they were considered sacred to the god Apollo. Much like the hummingbird, crickets also bring messages of prosperity and happiness. Crickets on the hearth is a sign of family happiness, which was illustrated in the novel by Charles Dickens. If you have a fireplace, place a brass cricket above it to bless your family with happiness. To see or hear the beautiful sounds of a cricket chirp means good luck, the messenger of prosperity and happiness. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, mythical creatures can also serve as spirit animals. The griffith is a legendary creature that has the body and back legs of a lion, the head of an eagle, and talons for front legs. Like many other so-called myths, I question if these were myths at all, since depictions of them appear in Greece, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Iran, Central Asia, and in Europe. Sort of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Griffins symbolize knowledge and are used to protect precious objects. Griffins have been used as coat of arms to protect the family name or dynasty, and as emblems of knowledge for schools and universities, serving as mascots. Use the power of the griffin to guard precious objects and for knowledge. Making a comeback after a perceived failure, the phoenix is a symbol of return and victory. The symbolic meaning resonates throughout religion and alchemy of being reborn after voluntary combustion. The phoenix symbolizes rebirth, reincarnation, returning, and victory. Fish vary in species, however, all kinds belong to the water element. The deep waters that fish reside in is synonymous with the underworld, making fish associated with hidden knowledge and rebirth. According to the Vedas, knowledge was delivered by means of a fish acting as an avatar for Vishnu. The Celts regarded the salmon as a symbol of wisdom and hidden knowledge. This can be seen in the boyhood deeds of Finan, an Irish story that covers the adventures of Finan Mac Cumhaill. The story is filled with great symbolism, where a salmon eats 9 hazelnuts that fall into the well of wisdom. By this act, the salmon gained all the knowledge of the world. The first person to eat the flesh of the fish would have all the knowledge transferred to him. As I was preparing this presentation, I suddenly remembered the salmon story, and I remembered I forgot to add it to the food list. Yes, salmon can be eaten for hidden knowledge, as well as to remove obstacles. You can also use a depiction of a salmon, such as a picture or a statue, in your spell work or rituals. Fish in general are known for being able to lay a lot of eggs. Therefore, this makes them symbolic of fertility and life. All kinds of fish represent the water element, the underworld, birth and rebirth, and fertility. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. The spirit creatures list is in the description box. I have several statues and pictures of different animals, but yet I don't necessarily consider them my spirit guide or my spirit animal. And you may feel the same way, and that's totally okay. You can always reference animals or use animals as some form of symbolism, and it doesn't have to go any further than that. But there's a pretty big list listed in the description box. Feel free to use these animal lists any way you want to. Thank you for watching.